So here 12 rules for life, an antidote to chaos, a book that will reshape the way you think, act and navigate life, right? Imagine standing at a crossroads, right? On one side, right, the chaotic whirlwind of existence, its unpredictability, suffering and complexity, right? On the other hand, structure, meaning and discipline. 12 rules for life, by Jordan Peterson. It's just not a book. It's a roadmap, for how to bring order to chaos of life. So through deep psychological insights, a timeless myth, moral philosophy, and real world and anecdotes, Peterson, crafts 12 rules, right? Each acting as a guiding, principle designed to transform how you perceive and engage with the world. Whether you seek, self-improvement, better relationships, or mental resilience, these rules provide a foundation for living a meaningful life. So the 12 rule, a deep dive into transformation. Stand up, stand up straight with your shoulders back. So this isn't just about posture, it's about confidence, dominance, and biological hierarchy. So Peterson here uses the example of lobsters, okay, demonstrating how social positioning affects neurochemistry by standing tall, taking responsibility by displaying strength. So your signal strength, you signal your place in the world, right? Those who embody confidence, command respect, attract better opportunities, and avoid falling into self-defeat. So treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping, right? Most people here take better care of their pets or loved one than they do themselves. Peterson asks here, why don't we apply the same kindness and diligence, to ourselves? Self-care is an obligation, not an indulgence. Recognizing your intrinsic value reshapes your decisions, health, and future. Third point is what? Make friends with people who want the best for you. So toxic relationships here, drag you down. Peterson here emphasizes, that surrounding yourself with people who genuinely support your success lead to exponential growth. Your environment shapes your destiny. Choose wisely. So point number 4 is here, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. So here social comparison is dangerous, right? So it breeds envy and discomfort, obviously discouragement, right? Peterson's rules here redirect this impulse. So measure progress by your own standards, right? So growth is personal. What matters is totally becoming better than your past self. So point number 5 is here, do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them, guys, right? So here presenting isn't just about love, it's about guidance. Children must be disciplined so they grow into responsible well adjustment adults here neglecting discipline can breed resentment between parents and children, harming relationships long term, right? Point number 6 is here, set your house right in perfect order before you obviously criticize the world. So before you point fingers at society, fix your own life first, right? Align your actions, take personal responsibility, and build discipline before trying to change the world. Meaning starts within. So pursue what is meaningful, not what is here expedient. So life isn't about chasing short-term pleasure, right? It's about here pursuing deep meaningful goals. Peterson argues that here meaning arises when we confront suffering head on and transform it into purpose, right? So point number 8 is here, tell the truth, right? Or at least don't lie. So lie destroy trust and obviously wrap reality, right? So here speaking the truth even when difficult builds resilience, integrity, and credibility. Peterson frames truth as the foundation of strong relationships and well-lived life. So point number 9 is here, assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't, right? So listening isn't passive, it's a gateway to knowledge. Peterson urges that here humility in conversation, because learning from others expands understanding and sharpens thinking, right? So point number 10 is here, be precise in your speech, right? So word matters, vacuum communications here leads to misunderstanding, conflict, and obviously weak outcomes, right? So Peterson advocates, right, for clarity. Being specific in language improves relationships, problem solving, and personal effectiveness. So do not bother children, right? Next point is, do not bother children when they are skateboarding. So this metaphor emphasizes the importance of resilience and here risk taking, right? So overprotecting youth weakens them. Obviously, let children explore, make mistakes, and develop courage. Okay, so point number 12 is here, pet a cat when you encounter one of the street. Right, so this rule isn't just about cats, it's about finding moments of joy amidst suffering, right? Peterson shares personal experiences, emphasizes the importance of cherishing, right, small sources of beauty and relief when life feels unbearable. So the final takeaway, order in chaos is here, that Peterson argues, that suffering is an inevitable part of existence, right? But how we face it defines us. So these rules offer a structure to navigate life with strength, discipline, and deep meaningful, right? So here, deep meaning, I'm going to say. So this isn't just a self book, it's obviously a manifesto for personal responsibility, resilience, and wisdom, right? So if these principles resonate, apply them in your life, won't just change, it will obviously evolve. So here, 12 rules, obviously 12 rules for life, a blueprint for personal growth and obviously meaningful existence. So unlocking order in a chaotic world, a guide to strength, discipline, and obviously moral wisdom, right? So life is an unpredictable, it's full of suffering, obstacles, and injustice, but it's also holds immense beauty, meaningful, and transformation, right? Jordan Peterson's 12 rule for life serves as a philosophical manual, right, for navigation's life complexities by embracing personal responsibilities, truth, and growth. So each rule is more than just a guideline as well. So it's a fundamental shifts in mindset, a way to reclaim controls, find purpose, and build resilience against chaos. So rule number 1 is what is here, that stand up straight with your shoulders back, confidence, discipline, and social herigai. Your posture is more than a physical stance. It reflects your attitude towards life. Peterson draws from neurobiological and the behavior of lobsters to illustrate how posture affects brain chemistry. Real world application is here, when facing difficulties, adopt a strong physical and mental postures, right? Lift your head, roll your shoulders back, right, and work with confidence, even when life feels heavy. Standing tall, isn't just about looking strong. Standing tall is not just about looking strong. It shifts your brain's biochemistry, right? Reducing stress and obviously increasing dominance. People respond to posture. If you walk in a room, hunched over, you signal weakness, but if you enter with purpose, opportunities increase and people respect you more. So the moral education and the life application is here, that life is a battle, right? As we know, face it head on. Adopting this mindset encourages courage and resilience, preventing you from falling into victimhood. Confidence is not arrogance, it's a self-respect. Treat yourself with dignity so the world treats you the same way. Rule 2 is here, treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Self-respect, accountability, growth. People often care for others better than they care for themselves. Why do we ensure a loved one takes their medicine while neglecting our own health, dreams, or well-being? So real world application is here, if you wouldn't let a child skip meals, why let yourself? If you had encouraged a friend to chase their dreams, why doubt your own? Apply the same love and discipline to yourself. So think of yourself as your own mentor. Would you let yourself waste potential, neglect health, or indulge in damaging habits? Moral education and the life application here, personal responsibility is an act of self-love. Many people suffer because they fail to care for themselves wisely, right? So true self-respect requires action. You must invest in yourself like you would a loved one, right? Whether through learning, discipline, or personal care. So the rule number 3 is what is make a friends with people who wants the best for you. Relationships, influence, and obviously success. Your environment shapes your destiny. So toxic friendships pull you down, obviously. So while good friendships lift you up, Peterson's warns against staying around destruction and destructive people who don't genuinely support your growth. Real world application is here, that surround yourself with people who challenge you, support your dreams, and push you towards greatness. Distance yourself from obviously energy drainers, those who mock ambition, promote unhealthy habits and discourage progress. Moral education and the life application is here. Every relationships either builds or destroy you. Choose wisely. Growth requires pruning. Remove negative influence to flourish fully. Rule number 4 is what? That compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Right. So self-improvement, perspective and personal growth is here. Social comparison breeds discontent. If you measure yourself against others, you are chasing an illusion. Someone will always appear ahead, but if you compare yourself to yourself, but if you compare yourself to yourself, growth becomes miserable. Right. So real world application is what? Here, track progress. Track progress in small ways. Whether it's a better workout, more knowledge, or improved patience. Your life is your own phase. Your life is your own race, right? Complete against the past version of yourself, not curated success stories of others. The moral education and the life application is here, that progress matters more than perfection. A fulfilled life is about evolutions, not envy. Rule number 5 is here, do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them, right? Parenting, leadership, and obviously discipline. So childhood need boundaries, right? So letting them behave poorly breeds resentment, both for the parent and society. Peterson advocates proper discipline to mold responsible adults. So real world application is here, that teach children consequences, respect, and obviously self-regulation. Don't excuse bad behavior. Guiding them today prevents future struggles. Moral education and the life lesson is here, in that form love shapes character. Avoiding discipline does more harm than good. So rule number 6 is here, that set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. So personal responsibility, integrity, and obviously leadership. Fix your own life before blaming external forces. Clean your own mess first, both physically and mentally. Right? Before complaining about society, master yourself first, right? Focus on action, not excuses. Restructure your daily habits before attempting to solve global issues. So the moral education is here, that change starts within. Obviously change starts within. Strong individuals build strong communities, right? Rule 7 is here, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Purpose, resilience, long-term thinking. Short-term pleasure distracts from deep fulfillment, right? So true meaning requires discipline and sacrifice, right? Invest in hard work over temporary distractions. Define your ultimate visions and obviously then chase it relentlessly. So the moral education is here, that experience fades, meaning lasts, right? A meaningful life requires intentional effort, right? So I have that kind of a statement, the real life application, the moral education, psychological insights here to transform the life, obviously. And the rule number 8 is here, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Integrity, courage, and long-term trust here, that lying distort reality. It creates a wave of self-deception leading to bad decisions, broken trust, and internal turmoil. Truth is the foundation of stability, right? So imagine a friend asks for advice on whether to quit their toxic job. If you lie to avoid discomfort, saying it's fine, stay when you know they deserve better, you obviously betray their growth potential, right? So hard truth may hurt, right? Hard facts, right, is totally gonna be hurt, but they liberate. Whether it relationships, career, or self-reflection. So the moral education is here, that honesty demands courage. Honesty demands courage. Standing by the truth, even when inconvenient, right, builds a life rooted in integrity. Life's novel, into suffering. Short-term deception leads to long-term destruction, personally and professionally. Okay, so rule number 9 is here, assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. Humility, growth, knowledge exchange. Obviously, most people listen to respond, not to understand. Peterson stresses, that true learning is an act of learning, right? So not just conversation. In debates, avoid the trap of defending your beliefs, blindly instead of seek truth, over victory. Every person carries unique insights, from a child's simplicity to an elder's wisdom's. Learning is everywhere. Learning is everywhere. So the moral education is here that humble listening leads to wisdom. The greatest minds question more than they assert. Knowledge expands when ego shrinks, right? So be willing to reconsider perspectives. Truth is often discovered through dialogue. Rule number 10 is here that be precise in your speech. Clarity, effective communications, thought organization. So words shape reality. Vague communication breeds misunderstanding, confusions, and weak convictions, right? Peterson here urges that clarity and precision, right, whether in arguments, self-expression, or life decisions. In relationships, unclear communication leads to resentment. Saying like you never listen is less effective than I feel unheard when my opinions are ignored. So in leadership, ambiguity weakens directions. Clear articulation commands respect and drives action. So the moral education is here that precision prevents unnecessary suffering. Miscommunication creates false assumptions leading to avoid conflict. Define your thought before speaking. A well structured idea influences more than rambling emotion. Rule number 11 is what? Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. Resilience, risk taking, right? Obviously growth through challenges. Peterson argues that against overprotecting youth, right? That's the biggest problem. Overprotecting rules and the youths as well, that challenges, risk, and failures forge strength. Shielding children from obviously struggle weakens their ability to handle their real life hardship. Let children fall, fail, and learn, right? That's the actual process. Obviously scrappled knee teaches balance. A lost competition teaches resilience. Encourage discomfort. Obviously encourage discomfort. If you are encouraging discomfortness, obviously you will get that success whatever you want in your life as well. So if life is too easy, personal growth stagnates. So the moral education is here that over protection breeds weakness, right? So the strongest peoples are forced right through struggle, not comfort. So here encourage exploration. Risk teaches adaptability, which is essential for survival. Rule number 12 is here pet a cat when you encounter one on the street, right? Pet a cat obviously when you encounter one on the street. So finding joy, coping with suffering, appreciating small moments. So life is brutal, unpredictable, and often unfair. So Peterson's rules is reminder to embrace small beautiful moments amidst chaos, right? So look for moments of space, of peace. I mean to say, look for moments of peace, right? Whether it's sunlight filtering through trees, right? Music that stirs your soul, or shared laughter. These moments ground us in life's beauty. So during hardship, focus on the present instead of worrying about the next 6 months. Tackle the next 5 minutes. So the moral education is here that happiness isn't a destination. Happiness is not a destination. It's found found in fleeting moments, right? So cherishing a small joy builds emotional endurance, right? So final takeaway, a life rooted in meaningful, right? In meaning. So Peterson's 12 rule for life is a manual for stability, resilience, and personal wisdom. These principles don't just guide actions, they reshape mindsets, right? Teaching us to build strength against chaos, right? So this is all about. So yeah.